Hello everyone, welcome to the live stream. Like okay, आज हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं कोकेन बेयर, which stars actually मैथ्यू रीज, जो उनका एकदम छोटा सा अपीयरेंस है एकदम शुरुआत में. लेकिन हाँ, रे लियोटा, कैरी रसल, ओशिया जैक्सन जूनियर, जेसी टेलर फर्ग्यूसन एंड मेनी अदर्स ये फिल्म में है. So ये पहली बात तो यार, प्लीज गाइज लाइक शेयर सब्सक्राइब टू माय चैनल. वैसे ये बोलना जरूरी है एक्चुअली. So yeah, without much ado, let's introduce my guest. डॉक्टर का तो पहली बार इंग्लिश फिल्म के लिए बुला रहा हूँ, क्योंकि हर बार तो बॉलीवुड के लिए ही बुलाता हूँ मैं. इसलिए इस बार पहली बार
मैं
इंग्लिश फिल्म
धन्य
के लिए
हो
बुला
गया
रहा
कि संकेत ने मुझे एक इंग्लिश फिल्म के लिए बुलाया डिस्कशन के लिए. बिस्वा
नहीं
को
नहीं.
देखो ऐसा हंस रहा है जैसे कि हर बार उससे वो तो रेगुलर है ये सब डिस्कशंस में, एकदम ऐसा. ओके, जस्ट
So
जोकिंग.
next up is बिस्वा जो थर्ड अपीयरेंस है. मैं तो एक्चुअली गिन रहा हूँ कि अभी बिस्वा कितने सेकंड है, थर्ड है कि क्या है. वैसे थर्ड अपीयरेंस 3 times again. So yeah, welcome बिस्वा, welcome डॉक्टर to my channel. So बिस्वा, आपसे शुरू करते हैं. तो ये फिल्म के बारे में कब सुना आपने और कब देखा, जस्ट क्या रिएक्शन था आपका?
Hi everyone. Hi Doc. Hi Sanket. Thanks for having me again. तीसरी बार झेलना है मुझे. So I think कोगन बैक का ट्रेलर मैंने देखा था काफी पहले. Of course हमारे ग्रुप में आया था. This is our hub where we get to see all the trailers. I think YouTube पे आने से पहले हमारे ग्रुप में आ जाता है. So I got to see the trailer. It was see there is something that appealed from the day one I saw the trailer that has in a way worked for the movie also, and that is shock value. Okay, so normally अगर premise ऐसा हो जिसमें there's a bear who's out on a rampage after sniffing cocaine people, you don't get something like this very often. So I think in a way that this shock value that I got after seeing the trailer, there are very few movies जिसमें मैं ट्रेलर देख के decide okay ये तो देखना है मुझे, right? There are very few of those. This is one of those. मुझे देखना ही था. I'm not a big fan of comedies. I keep saying this. I'm not a big fan of comedies. Again, this particular genre, this में horror comedy होता है. There is something that really strikes. I think those jump scares and the equal amount of opportunity for the audience to laugh and giggle about it. At the same time, somebody's head is being chopped off, blood is coming out, oozing out, and the audience is laughing at it. So I think this is something that uh, I don't mean to sound sadistic, but this is something that I really enjoy. तो डे वन से जब मैंने ट्रेलर देखा था, आई रियली लाइक्ड इट. आई थिंक इट वाज वेरी ऑफबीट, वेरी डिफरेंट. आई वाज रियली लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू इट. और जब मैंने मूवी देखा कपल ऑफ वीक्स बैक, आई थिंक अबाउट इट रिलीज ऑन फरवरी लास्ट वीक, आई थिंक 23rd 24th रिलीज हुआ था. And the moment I realized it's out and it's barely a 95-minute movie, I could manage some time out on a Friday evening. I went ahead and watched it, and I literally enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, gajab time pass. I have a few issues which I would like to discuss, but then again, this is my overall view of it. I was excited with the trailer, and I was pretty happy after watching it. I really liked it.
अच्छा डॉक्टर साहब, कैसा लगा? कभी सुना, कभी कैसा लगा, कभी देखा, और थॉट्स क्या थे इस फिल्म पे?
वेल संकेत, मैंने ये फिल्म तो बिस्वा के साथ ही आई हर्ड अबाउट इट. वी हैव व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप वेयर वी डिस्कस मूवीज एंड ट्रेलर साथ डालते हैं हम. वहीं पे मुझे मालूम पड़ा अबाउट दिस मूवी एंड आई बिकेम अवेयर ऑफ इट एंड आई अगेन मैंने ट्रेलर देखा एंड द आइडिया सीम्ड रियली क्रेजी, इनसेन. एंड this is actually based on a true event. टेनिस में actually एक कहीं पे एक forest में there was smuggled cocaine somewhere and one bear actually had it and got high. ये सच में हुआ है. But in the true incident, the bear didn't kill anyone. वो उसको वो bear को एक nickname भी दिया गया, Pablo Escobar करके. तो that bear of course didn't kill anyone. That bear सीधा मतलब it developed health issues after taking the cocaine and फिर सीधा उसका body मिला उनको, and there in the tummy in the postmortem they found out that nearly 90 कुछ nearly बहुत ज्यादा quantity, I don't know the exact number, but बहुत ज्यादा quantity में वो bear ने cocaine consume कर लिया था and got very high with it. So वो idea को लिया and they've created a whole kind of horror comedy where this bear gets high and is on a killing rampage and trying to and creating havoc in a forest. And this idea seemed really good to me, you know. And uh, of course, and I'm a sucker for black comedies, horror comedies. This is one genre I really love. Yeah, and I've been following quite a lot. I really like Edgar Wright's Shaun of the Dead. It's a lovely movie. I feel in fact, after watching Cocaine Bear, I again watched that movie, Shaun of the Dead. I really love that movie. I like Taika Waititi's What We Do in the Shadows. That is also one insane horror comedy, dark comedy, which I absolutely love. And then then वो this thing ब्रदर्स कोएन ब्रदर्स का तो डार्क कॉमेडी का एक अलग ही जॉनर है कोएन डार्क कॉमेडीज विद कोएन ब्रदर्स इट इज something which it is a genre on its own I feel with this thing Argo and this thing am I pronouncing it properly Argo
आर्गो
Ben Affleck का
आर्गो
Fargo था right
नहीं नहीं
नहीं
बेन
नहीं, बेन
एफ्लेक
एफ्लेक का आर्गो था और कोएन ब्रदर्स का
का
फार्गो था.
Fargo. So sorry, I always get confused between the two. Okay. So Fargo, yeah, Fargo, then Big Lebowski, and then so many other movies which I can't name right now. एक जॉर्ज क्लूनी और ब्रैड पिट का मूवी था by the Coen brothers which was again very awesome and
बर्न्ट आफ्टर रीडिंग.
कौन सा
आई थिंक बर्न्ट आफ्टर रीडिंग करके शायद से था,
हाँ
राइट?
burnt after reading ऐसा कुछ टाइटल था that was also really good and yeah Coen I love Coen brothers का dark comedy and then there is and I'm very bad at remembering movie titles if अगर तुम में से किसी के पास विकिपीडिया है तो खोल के देखो then there is another one brilliant dark comedy which is my all time favorite जिसमें Colin Farrell है and this one is there Ralph Fiennes is there in that and it's about a serial killer who goes on a holiday after guilt of
In
crime huh
इन ब्रुक्स
इन ब्रूज,
Yeah, in
इन ब्रूज.
Brooks,
आई थिंक
right.
ये मार्टिन मैकडोना का ये
In
जो
Bruges.
इस साल उनका ये फिल्म है द बैंशीज ऑफ इनिशेरिन.
In Bruges. Yeah,
यस
yeah. Yeah, इसमें भी Colin Farrell है, right? So that was also I didn't know director same है ये but मैंने बहुत पहले फिल्म देखा था and I really loved it in Bruges. So yeah, so with in Bruges, yeah, Kayo ने भी confirm किया in Bruges. Yeah, I'm very bad at remembering movie titles. I watch movies, I love them, and I forget their names. So yeah.
It's a good
So
disorder.
dark comedy is my one of my favorite genres, and in Hindi we have Raj and DK have really lifted that genre first with Go Goa Gone, then they produced Stree, and now what they've done with the Family Man and season 1 and 2 and Farzi. एंड स्त्री के बाद ये जो डायरेक्टर है अमर कौशिक वो भी बहुत कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हैं डार्क कॉमेडी को विद हिज हॉरर कॉमेडी वर्स स्त्री उसके बाद भेड़िया सो हमारे बॉलीवुड में भी अभी डार्क कॉमेडी हॉरर कॉमेडी अच्छे बन रहे हैं सो ये सब चीज को लेके मैं कोकेन बेयर के साथ बहुत एक्साइटेड होके गया देखने को एंड आई लव द ट्रेलर इट वाज इनसेन फिर फिल्म देखने तो बैठा मैं but I wouldn't say I enjoyed it that much because I think I expected too much. Okay. So there were a couple of things. Okay, I won't say film बुरी थी, अच्छी थी. It kept me invested. बोर तो नहीं हुआ देखने के टाइम मैं फिल्म एंड अच्छा टाइम पास तो हो रहा था बट यू नो एक लेवल पे जा सकती थी फिल्म with this concept. But I felt it didn't go because of a couple of reasons. One of which I felt was the excessive use of jump scare moments. It seemed like the makers जो भी involved है, they didn't know anything better than to just create those jump scare moments where the bear just comes. I mean, you can get scared by it once, twice, then it becomes repetitive. You're like, okay, one more jump scare, and it becomes predictable. वो एक था, and also the way the gore was shown. I don't know. अभी ये फिल्म तो प्रॉपर एडल्ट फिल्म थी एंड गोर में भी दे ऑलवेज शो फीट one feet coming out. ये 2 बार दिखाया था. I mean, when you have an adult certificate and you have there's so much of creative liberty, तभी तुम यही बार बार दिखा रहे हो तो फिर थोड़ा चला जाता है. Also plot wise, I mean, they showed children protagonists in it. अभी तो हॉलीवुड फिल्मों में whenever they show children protagonists जिनका बैक स्टोरी ऑलरेडी एस्टैब्लिश किया है, तो फिर उसके बाद उनको कुछ नहीं होना है. एंड राइटफुली वो फिल्म में बच्चे तो बच ही जाते हैं एंड में. स्पॉइलर डिस्कशन, सो या आई एम गिविंग इट
Yeah.
आउट हियर. सो दैट इज काइंड ऑफ प्रिडिक्टेबल. एंड ठीक है, ऐसे जा रहा था. एंड इवन एंड one more element one more thing they did in the movie which I felt it didn't make it so good was introducing a very typical villain into the plot, getting one character who's also who's into bad business, and he's also personally a prick among lot of good people. Then it becomes more clear that the bear has to just kill that one person, and all whatever the bear has done is redeemed, and all the good people have to survive. Goes too much into predictable zone. I mean, why have all this? You've got a bear creating havoc. You can do all sorts of crazy things. You can get all sorts of crazy characters. You could do so much, and then you just go into very conventional territory. For me, yeah, it was not kind of okay. So that's why the movie overall didn't work so much for me, but I really enjoyed some of the jokes, some moments, like that scene jahan pe Oshia Jackson Jr., who plays the hitman of Ray Liotta's character,
Who is
and his son.
the son of Ice Cube?
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. And Alden Ehrenreich, who plays the son of the Ray Liotta's character, and they go to this particular place where there is a consignment of drugs, and वहाँ पे वो cop already एक ऊपर रहते हैं, ईसिया जूनियर, उनका नाम मुझे ठीक ठीक याद नहीं आ रहा, वो रहते हैं ऊपर, ईसाया. तो फिर उसके बाद ही इज पॉइंटिंग अ गन at Oshia Jackson Jr.'s character. He's pointing a gun at them, and something intense is about to happen. And then suddenly the bear comes all high and does all sorts of crazy thing. And वो एल्डन एहरेनरीच के ऊपर पूरी तरह से लेट भी जाता है. That was really very funny. I was laughing my life out on those scenes, and that was really funny. मजा आ रहा था in that particular scene. And then someone shoots someone's hand and fingers drop. वो बहुत मजेदार था.
It goes
So
to
that was
pick
good.
somebody goes to
Yeah,
pick the
that
finger.
बस वही पूरे फिल्म में वैसे चाहिए था यार.
They
For
should
me,
have
I
had
wanted that to be there throughout the movie, but then you get फिर बच्चों को दिखा देते हैं, and then इनको कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. You show a woman with them, and इनको कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. Then it kind of gets predictable and not so fun. So that was the thing. Sorry.
नहीं, ये एक्चुअली
So
मतलब मैं जब भी देखा था मतलब एक्चुअली इस फिल्म के बारे में मुझे पता भी नहीं था, मैं सच बोलूँ तो, क्योंकि सिर्फ एक ही चीज पता थी. आई थिंक जब ही रे लियोटा मर गए थे तो तब जाके मुझे लाइक ये फिल्म का मेंशन था कि ही वाज इन द लाइक ही वाज शूटिंग दिस फिल्म वैसे. तो तब जाके इस फिल्म के बारे में सुना था, तो मैं भूल भी गया था कि ये फिल्म करके कोई एग्जिस्ट करता. और फिर जाके ये फिल्म भी रिलीज हुआ और मुझे पता भी नहीं था माइंड यू कि ये फिल्म आ रहा है, ये ऐसा कुछ है. सीधा और मैंने ट्रेलर तो मैं तो देखता ही नहीं हूँ कोई फिल्म का, बस सीधा ऐसे मुंह उठा के चल बैठता हूँ. और फिर जाके मैंने ट्रेलर भी नहीं देखा और देखा कि मूवी गो पे आने वाला है ये फिल्म के अगले हफ्ते. और जस्ट शेड्यूल सब मैच हो गया, जैसे बिस्वा बोला कि लाइक ही टुक सम टाइम ऑफ. मैं भी वैसे करके स्केड्यूल बैठ के हो गया था. फिल्म छोटा फिल्म था इसलिए गया. कोई भी कुछ भी मैंने बिना पढ़े बिना ट्रेलर देखे सब गया था कि मुझे पता नहीं था. और जब भी बाहर निकला तो तब मैं सैटिस्फाइड था. लाइक आई थिंक अनलाइक डॉक्टर मैं थोड़ा लाइक बहुत सैटिस्फाइड था कि वो वाओ कुछ अच्छा देखा. हॉरर कॉमेडी, हॉरर आई वुडंट से दैट, बट हाँ ज्यादा डार्क कॉमेडी स्पेस में जैसे कुछ देखा मैंने, कुछ नया देखा, अच्छा लगा फ्रॉम हॉलीवुड वैसे. लाइक अपार्ट फ्रॉम जो अवार्ड सीजन रिलीजेस होते हैं, जो अभी होंगे लाइक इन कमिंग टाइम, जैसे अभी हो ही रहे लाइक ट्रायंगल ऑफ सैडनेस, वेल, जो भी रिलीज हो रहे, अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट जो कुछ नॉन अवार्ड सीजन रहता ना, तो वो काइंड ऑफ कभी कभार अच्छा निकलता भी है, कभी कभार अच्छा नहीं भी निकलता है। तो आई वुड से कि ये काइंड ऑफ अच्छा निकला है, एंड ऑब्वियसली दिस कम्स फ्रॉम अ स्टूडियो जिन्होंने बहुत सारे लाइक अच्छे नहीं, मतलब बहुत ही बुरे हॉरर फिल्म्स बनाए हैं, और दिस कम्स फ्रॉम स्टूडियो वेयर लाइक उन्होंने ये सब बनाए हैं, तो आई थिंक ये कुछ बेहतर लगा है, ऐसा मुझे ऐसा लगा
हम्म,
कि लाइक उन्होंने ऑब्वियसली अच्छे अटेम्प्ट्स किए हैं, जैसे लाइक यूनिवर्सल स्टूडियोज ने द इनविजिबल मैन करके एक बनाया था, लाइक आई थिंक 2020 में आया था, वो भी लाइक बहुत ही अच्छा अटेम्प्ट था इन मेकिंग अ गुड हॉरर फिल्म। सो उन्होंने भी बहुत अच्छे लाइक चेंजेस और बहुत अच्छे डेवलपमेंट्स किए हैं इन दिस जॉनर, सो मुझे वो काफी अच्छा लगा कि ये एक ऐसा फिल्म आया उनके ही स्टूडियो से, विच लाइक बोलते ना कि एकदम अच्छे से कॉन्सेप्ट को जस्ट 80s वाले एक एक रियल इंसिडेंट को लेके, जस्ट मुझे पता भी नहीं था कि ये सब मतलब वो बेयर के साथ एक्चुअल में क्या हुआ था, जस्ट वही था कि उन्होंने स्टार्टिंग में लिख दिया कि बेस्ड ऑन ट्रू स्टोरी, और ओके मैं गया और मैं मुझे ऐसा हो रहा कि यकीन नहीं हो रहा था यार ये सब हो रहा है, ये सब हो रहा है, वैसे। तो जस्ट मैं वो राइड में मैं लेके गया और बहता गया यार कि क्या देख रहा हूँ मैं, इतनी हंसी आ रही थी हर एक, जैसे विश्वा ने डिस्क्राइब किया कि कैसे हर एक अब गोर सीन हो रहा है, हर एक कोई भी मारने वाला सीन हो रहा है, सब ऐसा हो रहा है, तो मजा आ रहा है कि अरे ये क्या हो रहा है, ओ बाप रे। लेकिन ये एक चीज मैं बोलना चाहूंगा कि मुझे प्रॉब्लम जैसा नहीं लगा जब भी कोई जंप स्केयर जैसा कुछ आ रहा था, वैसे कि ओके कोई जंप, क्योंकि आई डोंट नो मुझे वो जंप स्केयर जैसा कुछ लगा ही नहीं, सब जैसे नॉर्मल ही लगा। um, वो मुझे ऐसा लगा, ऑब्वियसली डॉक्टर को लगा होगा मुझे नहीं पता, लेकिन कैसे कि वो सब बेयर के जंप स्केयर थे, लेकिन आई डोंट थिंक मुझे ऐसा कुछ फील हुआ यहाँ पे कोई जंप स्केयर था ही। इसलिए मैं जैसे बोल रहा कि ये हॉरर फिल्म आई डोंट थिंक है। हाँ, एक एक एक्चुअली एक टाइप से मुझे ऐसा लग भी रहा था कि काइंड ऑफ थोड़ा इस वो बेर का वो सब खाना और वो बेर का वो सब पे हमला करना काइंड ऑफ मे बी थोड़ा सिंबॉलिक वे में जैसा कुछ होगा, मुझे नहीं पता, लेकिन ऐसा होगा। लेकिन ये फिल्म मुझे एक और एक फिल्म की याद दिलाता है। मैंने आई थिंक दो 3 साल पहले ये देखा था, लॉकडाउन जस्ट शुरू ही हुआ था, और एक फिल्म आई थी द हंट करके, एक फिल्म आई थी, द यूनिवर्सल फिल्म्स की का ही एक फिल्म है। वो भी ऐसा ही था, जस्ट लोगों को मार धाड़ रहे हैं लोग
Game
वहां
they
पे,
play, right? It's a family there. That lady gets married into. Is that a
नहीं,
movie? Or okay, okay. This was a game where they are in a undisclosed location. Suddenly, जाग जाते हैं
हाँ
सब
वही
लोग
वही
and
वही 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 वही
good movie. Yeah.
एब्सोल्युटली। तो
ब्लैक
मतलब
कॉमेडी
वो
थी क्या?
ब्लैक
Yeah.
कॉमेडी एग्जैक्टली, क्योंकि और उसमें एक्चुअली बहुत सारा सिंबोलिज्म जैसा था कि कैसे जस्ट द एलीट ऑफ द एलिट एलीट थोड़ा अपना खुद का गेम बनाते हैं, और जस्ट लोगों को ऐसा जस्ट ऐसे ही बेच देते, और
They make
ऐसे
pawns
ऐसे
out of
ये सब करते।
and they play types. Yeah.
करेक्ट करेक्ट,
Yeah.
तो वैसे वो सब था, और मुझे ऐसा लगा कि इसमें कुछ रहेगा कि जस्ट हाउ एंड द बेयर एक्चुअली इज काइंड ऑफ अ सिंबॉलिक थिंग। आई डोंट नो, मुझे ज्यादा कुछ में से महसूस नहीं हुआ, लेकिन ओके अगर कुछ रहेगा जिसका कुछ टेक तो मुझे पता नहीं, लेकिन मुझे ये सब
हाँ,
फील
एक थीमेटिक रेफरेंस तो था ही कि मैन इंडल्जिंग, मैन एक्सप्लॉइटिंग द नेचर, जितना नेचर बचा है उसको भी आदमी खत्म कर रहा है, एंड जितना वाइल्ड लाइफ है, जितना फॉरेस्ट एरिया उसे रहने नहीं दे रहा है, वहां पे भी अपना एक्टिविटीज, अपना स्मगलिंग सब लेकर आएगा तो देन दैट नेचर इज नॉट गोइंग टू टॉलरेट इट। वैसा थोड़ा सिंबोलिज्म, वैसा थोड़ा एक इनडायरेक्ट मैसेज था फिल्म में। आई काइंड ऑफ गेट इट, बट या
हम्म।
आई for my expectations, the movie was a bit of a letdown for me, as I said earlier. Yeah.
अच्छा, बिस्वा
I
आपने
think
बोला था कि थोड़ा, हाँ 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 हाँ, अभी एक्चुअली बोल रहे थे, सॉरी।
what I feel is, on one hand, we have Doc, who saw the trailer, he was very excited because this is a genre that he really digs into. Or उस हिसाब से he had that set of expectations with the movie and he went. And on the other hand, we had somebody like Sanket who had no clue about the movie. All he knew was the title of the movie. He comes across it and goes to watch it. So probably I think somewhere आप दोनों के बीच में मैं हूँ. I had my expectations as well with the movie, and although I do have a few concerns with the movie, some of which Doc has rightly pointed out. But eventually मुझे लगता है कि I did enjoy the movie. See, first things first, it's a very small movie, right? It's hardly 90-95 minutes movie, and
Yeah,
I love it when movies are below 100 minutes. There's this movie about, there's this movie Crawl where a particular guy is stuck and his daughter lands up in a particular house where the crocodiles are, or probably alligators, I don't know how to differentiate. So they are on the attack. So there's this movie Crawl. It's hardly 75 to 80-minute movie, I think. It's there
yeah.
on Prime
Quentin
Video.
Tarantino loved that movie, Crawl. Yeah,
Crawl, you
it's
should
very
watch.
darkly. I've not seen it, but I think I've seen the promos. It's very darkly shot, na? Or,
It's, it's, it's a pretty good movie, Doc. I mean, I think you should see it.
yeah.
It's a bit dark. It's a bit dark. Yes, it is. It is. I think the
नहीं
premise.
dark not in terms of themes but very darkly shot वो look film का बहुत dark है ना yeah
Yes,
Crawl
yes.
yeah Quentin Tarantino loved that movie yeah
Yeah, in fact, I watched it on the big screen. मैं Cinepolis गया था at that point of time, I remember. So I think somewhere, if I feel if there's a movie which is hardly less than 100 minutes runtime, और अगर मूवी थोड़ी भी अच्छी हो, then I kind of derive a ROI, जैसा कि मैंने इतना टाइम इन्वेस्ट किया इस मूवी पे, and it gave me the value for my money. I mean, I felt कि अगर मैं इतने टाइम में एक मूवी एंजॉय कर रहा हूँ, एक घंटे में, if I'm feeling good about it, I feel that movie is good. I think it's a very a different way of looking at things. I think this is how I look at it. This is one of the main reasons why I
yeah
like the movie. I'll straight away come to the thing why I didn't like the movie, or what it would have been, right? Rightly what Doc said. See, जो हुआ था सच में. So this event happened somewhere around 1985 where this bear sniffed cocaine and it passed away. And there was this particular noted smuggler at that point of time जिसका plane, I think it was about to crash because काफी भारी हो गया था, and he had to dump all the cocaine. And this is what they also show in the movie, which is true. They also show in the movie that he gets stuck in the parachute and he falls down and he dies, which is
Hmm.
again true. This also happened in the real life, but this is where the
he
similarities
was
end.
high yeah
He was
while
like, yeah,
jumping he was high on the cocaine yeah
itself, yes. And this is where the similarities end. उसके बाद जो होता है, they show it that the bear has, gone on a rampage and killing spree and killing everyone. So one of the critics wrote that this movie is a what if scenario wherein what if the bear did this and went on a revenge spree. So this is the way the particular critic looked at it from a symbolic point of view. All
hmm.
that is fine. In hindsight, you talk about, you watch a movie, you read about it, you get to know these things, all these facts, you start comparing, go to Wikipedia and do an analysis. It feels good, it doesn't feel good. That's one thing of it. But the genuine issues which I feel are the ones which crop up during the movie itself. अगर मैं मूवी देख रहा था, and then like Doc said, there were few moments like the bear, falling down on one of the characters at all. And then there was another scene wherein there's this particular ambulance which comes to rescue the forest
yeah
officer,
yeah
and the bear is out, and the bear just refuses to give in, and it starts chasing them, and how it manages to get inside. I think they show it in the trailer also. The bear jumping
hmm.
the ambulance going in slow motion. So it's
slow motion yeah
slow motion. I think that was one of the, and the way the forest officer falls, Doc, if you remember, and Sanket. So with
hmm.
the strap, unable to do anything. I think I would say that एक वो और एक वो bear के the passing out of the bear on this particular characters. So I think there were hardly 2 or 3 scenes which were really funny and which stayed
Hmm.
back with me, right? There wasn't
Hmm.
much to talk. Now, in a 90 odd minute movie, you don't expect to have too many of such scenes also. I'm still fine with at least, say, a half an hour to 45 minutes of absolute fun, absolute thrill, which I felt wasn't the case with the movie, right? Too many subplots in a small movie, too many characters in a small movie. I had this
yeah
too many characters. So
same issue with me yeah
I would probably ask Doc. So Doc, you said that this was a movie of what could have been, right? ऐसा case था. तो अगर आप
Hmm.
इसको देखते हो कि if you are feeling this is what the movie could have been, what do you think they should have avoided? I mean, someone like you know
Yeah, that's what. See, one thing जो आपने बहुत बराबर बोला बिस्वा was that the duration. One thing which went for the movie was definitely its duration. They didn't keep it very long. They kept it in the exact length it needed to be. So वहाँ पे by keeping it crisp वहाँ पे काफी कुछ माफ हो जाता है for the movie.
But
That's
I
why
think,
I would say ऐसा तो
Doctor,
नहीं था कि film. ऐसा
But I
एक
think
मिनट संकेत, हाँ, एक मिनट,
हाँ हाँ
व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज, ऐसे मैं ये नहीं बोलूंगा कि फिल्म बहुत घटिया थी, बहुत बड़ी लेट डाउन थी. आई हैड अ गुड टाइम. आई देयर वर मोमेंट्स वेयर आई वाज लाफिंग, एंड बाय द एंड ऑफ द मूवी आई फेल्ट satisfied to a certain extent. तो ऐसा मैं नहीं बोलूंगा that the movie was bad or something, but it could have been much more fun. That's what I feel. It could have been insane fun, but it kind of held back to a
Yes.
lot of degrees. Yeah, I can tell Biswa what I would have felt would have made that this movie that kind of insane fun. But Sanket was asking me something. क्या
नहीं,
पूछ
एक्चुअली
रहे थे?
आस्किंग नहीं, एक्चुअली मैं बोल रहा था कि यूनिवर्सल स्टूडियोज की हर फिल्म काइंड ऑफ वही टाइम लेंथ की ही होते हैं. लाइक आई थिंक मैंने
हम्म,
द हंट भी देखा था, वो भी इतना ही
हम्म,
छोटा रहा था. लाइक एक डेढ़ डेढ़
हम्म,
पौने 2 घंटे इतना ही होता है. और आई थिंक
हम्म,
उतना ही अगर कुछ अगर छोटे बजट का भी ऐसे कुछ बना रहे हैं तो आई थिंक इतना मिड लेवल बजट का भी इतना ये परफेक्ट रहता है कि एज अ लाइक ज्यादा कैरेक्टर्स नहीं, कम कैरेक्टर्स काइंड ऑफ.
yeah.
फिर भी ठीक है, लाइक मतलब अच्छा टाइम लेंथ में मैं एक्चुअली बोलूंगा बना था.
हम्म,
ऑब्वियसली लाइक आप लोग को जो लाइक ऐसा हो रहा है, मुझे ये सब फील नहीं हुआ, लेकिन ठीक है. हाँ, जस्ट लाइक विश्वा आप कुछ
हम्म.
लाइक बोलने वाले थे लाइक
Yeah,
कि
so what I was talking was what
हाँ
Biswa had
हाँ.
asked me was that what I felt would have been better. I would have one thing definitely would have wanted them to avoid is not having children characters with elaborate backstories. When you plant children characters and you have given them a big emotional arc already with their mother and with each other, and तो तुमको मालूम है इनको कुछ होने नहीं वाला है. ये इवन इफ ये बेर के सामने भी जाएं तो बेर इनको छोड़ के बाकी सबको अटैक करने वाला है. तो वो रखते ही नहीं कैरेक्टर्स को. थोड़ा अनसिंपैथेटिक ही रखते, सो दैट यू डोंट नो हु इज गोइंग टू सर्वाइव द बेर एंड हु इज नॉट. ये थोड़ा रखते. This would definitely be there. And towards the end, Ray Liotta की character को they made him a very villainous character. They made him the prick in the movie, where he's just he knows there is an insane bear who's high on his stuff. फिर भी जो बचा कुचा cocaine है, he wants it so that he can go over with his business, and he doesn't mind anyone getting in the way. तो ऐसे में when you bring in a villain character like that, then उसके बाद it becomes very conventional ना. Then all the bear has to do is just kill this prick and that's it. Everything वहीं पे वो फिल्म का resolution हो गया. So that's a very conventional route. We don't want that. We just want if this has to be one insane black comedy, तो फिर ऐसा होना चाहिए. Just what I would have much like to see, very neutral characters, each bad and good in their own ways, each have positive, negative in their own way, and they are stuck there. No children characters with elaborate backstories, and just some guys who are equal, guys or women, even girls, even women who are equally bad or good in their own measure, and then this bear attacking them, and then it becomes, then as a viewer you don't know इनमें से कौन बचेगा, who might get saved and who might go, and then the bear just causing rampage and just randomly killing people, and say suddenly and also violence ko bhi, they could have shown the gore more aesthetically. I mean, all you can do is just show feet dropping down each time when you've got an R rated, when you've got an R rated, when you've got an adult certificate, to show gore more aesthetically and liberally dikhao yaar. You've got all the liberty with you, you can go the extra mile and do it. So that's there. There was this particular movie I watched, जिसका recommendation मिला था. Some Bill and Butch and someone. Again, I can't remember the movie. Butch and someone and a series of unfortunate events ऐसा कुछ था. जिसमें two guys who look like they are they're kidnappers. They come across a woman, and they just they just take her along with she goes with them so that she can be safe, and these people are otherwise very harmless guys, but they look very ferocious. Then her friends, they try to rescue her from them, and with not knowing that they are actually harmless, well intentioned people, and in their rescue pursuits उनके साथ कुछ कुछ होता है. Someone is in a shredder and someone just gets a spear shot and dies, and then one cop comes and he gets to fire, and then he suspects them to be kidnapped, to have kidnapped that girl, and he dies in a tragic way, but it is all shown as gore and funny. I can't remember the name of that movie.
I
So
think
that
बिस्वा को
वो
याद आ रहा है वो.
So I
तो
think
वो film
I think what Doc said is correct. I think probably I was trying to sum it up in my way of the things that I don't like and what it could have been. I think a few of the points that Doc mentioned are really bang
yeah,
on. They could have done those things. I mean, see, these are very
yeah.
small. These are very small things that kind of elevate a movie to a level which is like the
Mhm.
level. Right? I mean, usse acha, you don't expect it to happen. Considering the
Yeah.
runtime we had, I think it's छोटे मोटे अगर hacks they could have used it. The movie could have been probably one of the best dark comedies. And I think Sanket was mentioning the movie which I got confused. I mean, Sanket, you mentioned about The Hunt, right? So there's this movie, Ready or Not. I'm not sure how many of you would have seen it.
Okay, ये dark comedy I think है ना, right? Fox
Yes.
Searchlight का.
Radio Not is, I mean, the protagonist is a lady who gets married into family, and there's a game that happens every year, or it's a ritual that happens. So I would suggest everyone that, and then the recent movie Bodies, Bodies, Bodies that I saw on Mr. Sandy's recommendation.
Mhm.
ये दो काफी अच्छे हैं. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is out on Netflix or Prime. I'm not sure. It's out on one of the OTTs in India. So ये दो movies I would
Ready or Not तो Hotstar पे भी है. I think.
Ready or Not is there on Hotstar. And Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I think speaking of dark comedies, since there were a few recommended by Doc and by Sanket, so I thought I'll just give you a couple of recommendations. And then
Bodies is a dark comedy. Ke?
it is, it
I didn't
is.
know.
I mean, you just
Okay.
wait, just watch it, and then you share your views on it.
अच्छा, नहीं
हम्म,
देखना चाहिए क्योंकि वो भी एक फिल्म था जो मूवी गो पे था.
Yeah.
ओके, लेट्स सी, क्योंकि मुझे वो खुद भी देखना था बहुत टाइम से, क्योंकि जब
I
ये
watched
थिंक
it. I watched it, and
ये
I was the only one in the theater. I loved it. Watch it.
होता है डेफिनेटली. नहीं, इन रेडी और नॉट आई थिंक एक ईट द रिच काइंड ऑफ जॉनर में भी वो भी आता है, राइट? कि मेरे एक दोस्त ने, अमर्त्य ने ही मुझे बोला था कि वो एक फिल्म है जो ईट द रिच जॉनर में काइंड ऑफ वो बहुत फिट बैठता है. इसलिए मैंने वो गूगल किया था, और अभी भी मैंने वो लिस्ट में अभी भी वो टैब खोला ही, रेडी और नॉट. जब जाके
हम्म.
आपने अभी मेंशन किया रेडी और नॉट, मैं बोला ओह बाप रे,
Watch.
कि ये एक डार्क कॉमेडी भी है. ओके, लेट्स सी, डेफिनेटली ऐसा था.
I think Sanket. So whatever the caption that we shared for this podcast was why people are not
But
talking about Coke and Bear.
yeah, hey, but whatever criticism I have about Cocaine Bear, it's definitely a movie I would recommend everyone, and I would tell everyone to watch, because I mean I'm very fascinated by dark comedies, and I even attended a session where writing a tutorial session where they were teaching how to write dark comedies, and I must tell you it's very difficult to come up with. Of course, dark comedy comes as a genre. It is one of those genres which comes across very easy, because you just have to show the most shittiest, the most craziest, insane, goriest thing happening, and you just have to turn it into comedy. It's not that. You need to think एक अलग level पे सब
आई
सोचना
थिंक
पड़ता है to come up
ये
with all that.
यही सेम चीज क्विंटन टैरेंटिनो ने लाइक वंस अपॉन अ टाइम इन हॉलीवुड में किया था. लाइक आई थिंक उनका
Yeah,
जो
Quentin
लास्ट के
Tarantino की काफी फिल्मों
मिनट्स.
he uses dark comedy.
एग्जैक्टली, एब्सोल्युटली,
His movies are not out and out dark comedies, but
हाँ,
they are like
Yeah.
they are
करेक्ट.
pretty
इवन
good.
जैंगो में
Yeah.
भी था, लाइक बहुत सारे उनकी
Hmm.
फिल्म्स में था. लाइक आई थिंक पल्प फिक्शन में भी था. कितने, लाइक ऑब्वियसली उनको हम
Okay.
ऐसे नहीं बोल सकते कि वो आउट एंड आउट, जैसे अभी डॉक्टर ने बोला कि
Hmm.
लाइक आउट एंड आउट डार्क कॉमेडी है, लेकिन हाँ वो ड्रामा, क्राइम ड्रामा में ज्यादातर आते रहते हैं हर बार उनके फिल्म्स.
Hmm.
लेकिन हाँ, वो एक जॉनर, मतलब वो जो एलिमेंट जरूर रहता है डार्क कॉमेडी का, कि वायलेंस को कितना फनी बना सकते हैं. और
Yeah.
अभी रिसेंटली मुझे लाइक वो वंस अपॉन अ
Okay.
टाइम इन
I
हॉलीवुड का
finally
वो
found out the name of the movie I was talking about, where it's called Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's what the movie is called.
Where is
Where
it on?
where two guys they happen to meet a girl and some crazy shit happens. Those guys look very harmful, very criminal, but they're not. They're very harmless people, and वहीं पे पूरा misunderstanding होते रहता है. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's what the movie is
It's
called.
five on
जब मैंने
85% on Rotten Tomatoes.
sorry.
It's rated 85% on Rotten Tomatoes and
करेक्ट
7.5.
Yeah.
एब्सोल्युटली. हाँ यार,
Yeah.
मतलब छोटी
So
फिल्म
when
है
I
वो भी,
watched the
एक घंटा
trailer
30
of
मिनट की.
Cocaine Bear, I expected this to be at least of that movie's level. Although that movie, I won't call it the highest level of dark comedy, but it is. It's an insanely funny. It's an insane dark comedy, and I expected this movie Cocaine Bear to be of that level, but it wasn't. They used too many conventional plot points, so that kind of held it back. But I'll still say people should watch Cocaine Bear. It's not as if they won't get to laugh or they won't get entertained. There is entertainment in it, and there is quite a lot of fun element in this movie, Cocaine Bear, and it should be supported. Yeah, dark comedy is a very small genre which is not taken as which is not given the kind of its due recognition. If you ask me, even if a lot of famous directors like this thing Coen brothers or Quentin Tarantino have dabbled in it, फिर भी उसे उतना importance नहीं मिलता. I feel it's a lovely genre where you can do so many great things. So yeah,
I
support
think
a dark comedy. Yeah.
Sanket, dark comedy as a genre, it's not easy to make. It's not easy to like, right? I mean, there are two different things. So it's like Doc said. I mean, he went to attend a scripting session on it, और उन्होंने observe किया कि it's not easy to build a dark comedy, write about it or create fun when you are least expecting it, right? I mean, those kind of moments that crop up in dark comedies. So I think एक तो there is an audience for these kind of movies. Not everyone likes dark comedies. I'll be honest. I mean, that's what I've seen amongst my folks and peers. So that is one. The audience is different, and second, not everyone has mastered it. Like I mean, the Coen brothers or Tarantino or a few of the other directors that we spoke of. I mean, these are the ones who have actually mastered it, and they are not overdoing it. They are not going
Yeah.
out and out to make a dark comedy. I mean, that's not what their intention is. But they have managed to derive moments in movies which stays with you, and this is what gives us an impression. Okay, this was a dark comedy. This is how a dark comedy should be, right? So उस हिसाब से I think as a genre it's very underappreciated and it's high time that we start giving it the recognition that it deserves. I think that's
तो आपने लाइक
Yeah.
आप दोनों ने एक चीज की, एक डायरेक्टर की बात नहीं की है. आई थिंक मैं आप दोनों से एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा था ये एक डायरेक्टर की बात करें, लेकिन आप दोनों उस चीजों में, इस चीज में फेल हुए. आपने श्रीराम राघवन की बात नहीं की है. लाइक मैं मतलब क्या डॉक्टर, आप बॉलीवुड के फैनेटिक होके बॉलीवुड के ही डायरेक्टर के बारे में बात नहीं की.
we were coming to it. Okay, why did you spoil it for us? दिखाओ आप notes उसको.
नहीं एक्चुअली लाइक
Yeah,
उन्होंने बहुत अच्छी
actually,
आउट
the thing is, I was concentrating more on the new age guys like Amar Kaushik and Raj and DK. तो थोड़े पुराने वाले रह गए पीछे. तो that's how I skipped Sriram Raghavan. But yeah, he uses very good dark comedy. I mean, अंधाधुन में जिस तरह से उन्होंने दिखाई थी उसको dark comedy was really
I think
great.
he didn't delve into it until Andhadhun, right, Doc? Sanket? I mean, are there any other movies that Sriram Raghavan? I think Johnny Gadar, yes, to some extent Johnny
जॉनी
Gadar.
गद्दार में बहुत
कुछ scenes
हल्के
थे
से यूज किया है एलिमेंट्स ऑफ डार्क कॉमेडी. बहुत हल्के से यूज किया है एलिमेंट्स ऑफ डार्क कॉमेडी. जैसे वो कैरेक्टर जो रहता है नील नितिन मुकेश का, वो खुद ही कुछ अजीबो गरीब एसएमएस भेजता रहता है आफ्टर गेटिंग वन विक्टिम आफ्टर अनदर, एंड पीपल रीड देम आउट. एंड देन देयर इज दिस गोविंद नामदेव का डिटेक्टिव कैरेक्टर who very casually asks him in a car, तुमने अमिताभ बच्चन की कौन सी फिल्म देखी है? और परवाना एकदम उसके कान के बाजू में आके परवाना, he knows he can easily overpower him, and then he catches him, and he uses Shriram Raghavan uses dark comedy very हल्के हल्के इस्तेमाल करते हैं. बट सबसे अंधाधुन में आई थिंक was his movie which you could call out and out थोड़ा डार्क कॉमेडी साइड में. बाकी बदलापुर हो या जॉनी गद्दार हो, he uses dark comedy, but those are otherwise very serious movies. उसका टोन बहुत सीरियस है. एक
आप लोग
डिज्नी
को ऐसा लगता
हॉटस्टार
है
पे एक सीरीज आता
हाँ
है
हाँ
बैरी, which is I feel what वो जहां जहां लेके जाते हैं डार्क कॉमेडी को. आई हैव सीन सीजन 1 सीजन 2 एंड गेट टू वॉच सीजन 3 एंड 4 भी आई थिंक आ गया है बैरी का. In that series, what they've done with dark comedy is really great, and the way they use the most what do you say dangerous situation and they turn it into comedies. The way they do that is really something. वो
अच्छा,
एक है.
लेकिन
And
आप लोग ने
yeah,
ये आप लोग को क्या लगता है कि लाइक एक मैंने एक बॉलीवुड फिल्म देखी थी 140 की लाश लोकल, वो भी काइंड ऑफ ये
yeah,
जॉनर में
definitely,
आ सकता है?
definitely,
Good movie.
very good, very good.
प्राइम
Yeah,
एग्जांपल.
yeah, yeah, good example of Bollywood. Yeah, dark
I
comedy.
think there,
Yeah.
there was also this movie Kalakand which didn't work, right? Saif Ali Khan starrer, which
Yeah,
was
it didn't
not
work. मैंने देखी नहीं है हालांकि ये फिल्म, but yeah, it was a it was a dark comedy. एक कमल हासन का एक मूवी आया था, कमल हासन विजय राज का, मुंबई एक्सप्रेस, which tried to be a dark comedy and there were some funny moments in it. I think is Kayo with us in chat? Kayo really likes that movie, and
Okay.
yeah, it had for me it had some dark comedy moments, but not fully realized. बाकी दौड़ राम गोपाल वर्मा की एक
yeah,
फिल्म थी, संजय दत्त उर्मिला मातोंडकर, दैट हैड. एंड उसका जो ओरिजिनल था विद नागार्जुना एंड श्रीदेवी, द ओरिजिनल मूवी, तेलुगु मूवी जिसका वो रीमेक था, बोथ दीज मूवीज हैड गुड, वो काफी अच्छा डार्क कॉमेडी में डिसेंट अटेम्प्ट थे दोनों. या
अच्छा, आपको कोई ऐड करना है विश्वा? लाइक जैसे मैंने अभी लाइक ऐड किया 140 की लास्ट लोकल है, और जाके श्रीराम राघवन का फिल्म है अंधाधुन. तो आपको कोई याद आ रहा है, नॉट जस्ट इन बॉलीवुड बट हॉलीवुड में भी या वर्ल्ड सिनेमा में भी कोई और?
I think I did mention Ready or Not is one, right? And I think the other movies I mentioned was Bodies, Bodies, and Bodies. I mean, these are two movies that I remember. Of course, there are many more, but I think personally, अगर मैं बोलूँ, Fargo came in what 70s, right? 76 में आया
नहीं
था
नहीं
शायद.
नहीं नहीं, फार्गो
नहीं
तो
नहीं,
1996 में आया था.
1990s में ही आया था. हाँ
96 में आया
19,
था.
not 76. 76 was Rocky. I get confused. So
हाँ
1996 में Fargo आया था, and then when they made it into a series, and they decided to cast Thornton in that in that particular role. So if you guys remember or not, this is again a spoiler discussion for season 1. So this
हाँ
particular guy who comes into the house, and this guy is sitting on a commode, right? And he starts, it's a very serious, intense discussion. I don't remember much about it. Probably he's going about telling him, जैसे तूने ये कुछ किया है, and this is what you should not have done. This is what I'll do to you. He's literally like threatening this guy, our antagonist. And the antagonist isn't doing anything. He just looks him into eye to eye. He's sitting on a commode, and there's a bit of silence for a second, and then there is a dump wala sound. So there's this basically there's this of course he's taking a dump, right? And there's this noise of something falling into the water, and he's still looking into eye to eye. I mean, this absolute eye contact. It's so menacing, right? It's so menacing. I mean, this is one scene that defines this particular genre for me. I think everyone, if we have not watched Fargo season 1, you should definitely watch it. And Martin Freeman is a is a hoot in that movie. I mean, the way he is tossed around, it's absolutely brilliant. They say it's by far the best season, but I think for me, Fargo season 1 and season 2 were equally good. So I think dark comedies में I
मुझे
think
सीजन 2 और ज्यादा अच्छा लगा था. लाइक
they related
I've not watched the series. I watched the movie. I watched the movie
नहीं
many
नहीं,
times, but I've not watched the series. Yeah.
सीरीज
should
एक्चुअली कोएन ब्रदर्स ने एग्जीक्यूटिव प्रोड्यूस किया है, बट आई डोंट थिंक उतना उन लोग का कुछ इन्वॉल्वमेंट था. नोआ हॉलोवे आई थिंक वो उनके जो क्रिएटर है, वो ही ज्यादा सब कुछ संभालते. आई थिंक वो प्रोड्यूसर इन नेम ओनली जैसा कुछ तो था, क्योंकि जब भी
there
उनका
is Tom Hanks'
एक्सेप्टेंस
son in
अवार्ड.
that. I think he plays a character in that.
टॉम हैंक्स,
Tom Hanks के बेटे ने एक रोल किया है.
हाँ
He's one of the
कॉलिन हैंक्स, करेक्ट करेक्ट करेक्ट, कॉलिन हैंक्स है उसमें. आई थिंक सीजन 2 में है वो. आई थिंक
two है वो. Okay.
कुछ तो है सीजन 1 या 2,
Also,
मुझे याद नहीं
yeah.
आ रहा है.
Also, a Big Lebowski by the Coen brothers. So,
कोएन
तो
ब्रदर्स.
that's one insane dark comedy, and I mean, वो कैसा उन्होंने सोचा and कैसे they could have come up with each and every plot twists was really something. And
So just imagine these things coming in the 90s. Even Pulp Fiction 94, 95 जब भी आया था,
94, हाँ.
right? And this guy walking ahead, he's trying to avoid Bruce Willis's character is trying to avoid the guy, and he's in his car, And this guy is
Commode, yeah. John Travolta is in the bathroom reading some new novel and shitting at the same time, and then he comes out and iske hath mein gun rehta and he shoots.
yeah,
And yeah, the way they show that in the backstory of that watch, and oh, when he's trying to escape with his girlfriend, with Bruce Willis ki jo girlfriend hai, uske sath out of the blue, he asks her, "Hey, did you have breakfast?" The main thing, and that's one of the funny moments. वैसे
I love.
Anurag Kashyap also uses dark comedy very well in his movies. I mean, Gangs of Wasipur 2 का वो
Brilliant.
scene where they're trying to assassinate Sultan, and that whole Definite and Guddu and that whole gang goes there, and Guddu trying to tie his nada, and he's having two phone calls, and he's trying to talk to negotiate with both of them. अबे किसको काटा किसको रखा, अबे मेरे को ही काट दिया है. Definite gets angry, and they are trying to see what vegetables whatever the Sultan is trying to shop for. अबे ये कटहल काहे खरीद रहा है बे. Then another guy says ये खरीद रहा है, ये खाएंगे तो हम लोग ही. And one guy says पक्का इसका पेट खराब है. कटहल खरीदने के बाद सीधा he goes to buy bananas, and he says पक्का इसका पेट खराब है.
ब्राह्मण
And
लोग का मटन
everyone,
होता है.
हाँ,
ब्राह्मण लोगों का मटन होता है कटहल. I think this is one of the lines in that scene.
yeah, Brahman लोगों का मटन होता है. One guy telling the other people why kathal is important, and that whole negotiation that goes, and then finally when they in a very foolhardy, in a stroke of luck, when they finally manage to gun down Sultan, that is one of the funny moments.
I
And
think,
also
I think
when Faisal makes his first kill, and not first kill with a gun. First तो वो अपने पहले तो फजलू को मार देता है, then he has the guy tonsured, and he makes him wear his sunglasses, and he says अबे तू तो शाकाल लग रहा है, and he puts the gun in his mouth and shoots them. It's so funny. So
I think
that's
it's.
what
I think Doc.
Anurag Kashyap uses dark comedy well. Those movies are not out and out dark comedies, but he uses dark comedy elements very well in the movie. Yeah.
आई थिंक ना एक हाँ आप बोलो बिस्वा, एक्चुअली मुझे एक
Just one
हाँ.
रिकमेंडेशन
words, and then we'll come to you. So I think since we spoke of Kashyap, Gangs of Wasseypur, of course, it's the best. And I think this guy also has used it pretty widely. Track, I think in a few scenes in Mukkabas, and then in the particular
Ugly.
in the particular Ugly, I was coming to it. So the cop scene,
हाँ
where
वो
Rahul
पुलिस
stares
स्टेशन
him,
Yeah.
वाला सीन,
and he starts asking him. I think Ugly में बहुत
पापा
अच्छा है.
कॉलिंग वाला.
Yeah. That
And
scene very well executed, and the way he describes that scene, it was very natural. The actors Rahul Bhatt and Vineet Kumar, they were both trying to overpower. They were both trying to impress Anurag Kashyap. They were trying to impress, and they were trying to compete with each other in saying their dialogues.
yeah,
And ये जो गिरीश कुलकर्णी था, he was very relaxed, and he knew what his character was. And Anurag Kashyap decided to use that and bring that into the scene. So it starts with that actor Rahul Varshney saying something, and then Vineet ka jo character है Chaitanya, he feels that he is very naive and he won't be able to negotiate with the police. So he's trying to overpower over him and trying to tell, overpower him and tell the cop something so that the cops find it more believable. Then Rahul finds it very irritating, and he tries to overpower him, and they have this match, and this guy is just plainly watching and having fun. Girish Kulkarni, the way he
But
brought it, and the way
I
he
think
asks,
हाँ
yeah, वो पूछता है, अच्छा तो अमिताभ बच्चन के घर का नाम क्या है, एंड का नाम अपने घर में क्या है, एंड देन अमिताभ बच्चन छोड़िए ना, अक्षय कुमार का है ना राजीव भाटिया, अरे उसका नाम राजीव भाटिया है, सबको अक्षय कुमार बोलते घूमता है. द वे दे इज जस्ट हैविंग fun with their desperation. That's really well executed, that scene. Yeah.
एक लास्ट रिकमेंडेशन मैं दूंगा, लाइक जस्ट मैंने मतलब थोड़े सालों पहले, आई थिंक लॉकडाउन के पहले या लॉकडाउन जस्ट शुरू हुआ था, तभी मैंने एक फिल्म देखा था. मुझे अभी जस्ट याद है कि एक फिल्म है फोर्स मार्जोरी या मैगवायर, जो भी जैसे प्रोनाउंस करना है वैसे वो कर सकते हैं. मैंने वो फिल्म फोर्स मैश्योर, हाँ वो फिल्म देखा था. इट इज डायरेक्टेड एंड रिटन बाय द गाय हु मेड ट्रायंगल ऑफ सैडनेस, द स्क्वायर. उनकी फिल्म थी ये. हाँ, कांस में अनसर्टन रिगार्ड्स का टॉप ऑनर्स जीता था ये फिल्म.
Is
मतलब
it a dark comedy?
अरे बहुत बहुत लाइक
ओके
सच में बहुत लाइक अच्छी फिल्म थी
ओके
यार ये, कि एक इंसिडेंट होता है और उसके रिगार्डिंग और उसके आफ्टरमैथ के पूरे रिगार्डिंग ये पूरी फिल्म है। और अ, उसका कैसे वो पूरा बोलते हैं ना कि उसका म्यूजिक और इवन सब चीजों प्ले होते हैं, और इवन कैरेक्टर्स भी कैसे वो पूरे इवेंट के साथ वो अडेप्ट करते हैं, रिएक्ट करते हैं कि क्या करते हैं। जस्ट उसके ही ऊपर है पूरा पूरा फिल्म। मैं वो इवेंट नहीं बोलना चाहूंगा क्योंकि वो ज्यादा ही स्पॉइल हो जाएगा आप दोनों के लिए, क्योंकि आप दोनों ने ये फिल्म नहीं देखी है। लेकिन आई थिंक आप दोनों को ये फिल्म देखना चाहिए, क्योंकि लाइक जस्ट अमेजिंग फिल्म बाय रूबन ओस्टलैंड। इन्होंने आगे जाके द स्क्वायर भी बनाया था, और अब जाके ट्रायंगल ऑफ सैडनेस व्हिच इज नॉमिनेटेड फॉर लाइक मेनी ऑस्कर्स एज वेल। तो आप इन दोनों को फिल्म देखनी चाहिए वैसे।
डेफिनेटली।
इसलिए
वो
तो
तो देखूंगा। आई लव ट्रायंगल ऑफ सैडनेस लाइक एनीथिंग, सो आई डेफिनेटली वॉच बहुत
हम्म
रूबन ओस्टलैंड के का पूरा फिल्मोग्राफी अभी मैं देखना है, मैंने डिसाइड किया, देखूंगा डेफिनेटली। And there is one certain, what do you say, side genre to dark comedy, which is tragic comedy. It's not, matlab dark comedy mein lot of dangerous stuff is happening, and people's lives are at stake, and very violent stuff is happening, and that's converted into comedy. Tragic comedy mein it's basically a tragedy, and किसी के साथ बहुत बुरा हो रहा है, and tragic हो रहा है, and you just convert all that into comedy,
आई
tragic
नो, मतलब
comedy.
आफ्टर आवर्स लाइक बहुत
Yeah.
सारे ऐसे लाइक हाँ।
So there is this particular very famous series on Netflix, animated BoJack Horseman,
हो जाएगा
which I feel has done a brilliant job at tragic comedy, and जिस तरह से उसमें दिखाया है what real world problems and how, I mean, this could have been a tragedy, and it could have been, you just feel bad and bad for whatever is happening, but you instead end up laughing at it, and because it's all turned into comedy, and I really found it very impressive. Yeah.
अच्छा
I think since we have been of course we started with cookware and we have been discussing about the genre that it belongs to. I think there's one point that I just wanted to understand and discuss with you guys before we kind of sum it up. We are already into
Yeah,
52
yeah,
minutes,
sure, sure, sure. Yeah, sure.
right? So
We went too offhand. Bolo.
I think it's still fine. I mean, as long as we are true to the topic. I think Cook and Bear. So Sanket's thumbnail was why are people not talking much about Cook and Bear, right? So as per Wikipedia, I was just going through the details. I think it reportedly made on a budget between 30 to 35 million dollars. It has already grossed about 40, 50, 50 or 53 million dollars. So I think it is a hit. I mean, considering there's hardly any investment in movies like this, it has made its money. But just before we started the podcast, just before you joined talk, I was talking about the same thing with Saket also, and we were trying to understand why are people not talking much about it, right? I mean, of course, there are these movies that come and go, that go unnoticed, but as a genre, comedy is something that everyone in India loves. I mean, be it dark comedy, be it any sort of comedies, ugly comedies, or out and out, mindless comedies. So why are people not talking much about Book and Bear? Why are the three of us discussing about it here? And at the same time, there are hardly people. How many people were there when you guys were watching? I'm not sure. There were I was sitting on the recliner seat, and there were two this side and a couple on the other side. So there were like five of us watching. So
अच्छा,
Like
नहीं मेरे में तो
when I this cinema hall में मैंने देखा तो वहाँ पे तो थे अच्छे अच्छे खासे लोग थे, मुश्किल से 5 या 6 सीट ही वेकेंट रहे होंगे द होल
okay,
cinema hall, and there was a good like young college going crowd थे who were properly cheering at all the
okay.
highs, all the kills, and अच्छा reaction मिल रहा था. So where
ठीक
I
है मैं
watched it, there was a good audience occupancy and good audience response. So yeah, I didn't find the case,
मेरे
but
वक्त
yeah,
तो मेरे वक्त तो
uh,
थोड़ा कम था काइंड ऑफ, मतलब जैसे बिस्वा ने डिस्क्राइब किया मेरे वक्त पे आई थिंक ना 10 लोग जितने
mm,
थे वैसे ही काइंड ऑफ जैसे था। तो ओके, ठीक है, होते रहता है। हम लाइक
yeah.
लाइक
I think
होपफुली
it's
जैसे अपने बिस्वा ने बोला
I
भी।
mean, ठीक है. Why people are not watching and talking about it much? So there are pretty obvious reasons कि सबसे पहले तो there are not जिन्होंने बनाया है Elizabeth Banks, she's an actor turned director, but उनका in this particular genre ज्यादा नाम नहीं है. And even among star cast, okay, you have Ray Liotta, who but he's also not been such a big name. Even in the star cast, you don't have that big names. But I feel if you add big stars to this particular movie, it would have spoiled it. I
हाँ
mean,
वही
जितना
तो
बड़ा
वही
स्टार
तो
उसको कुछ नहीं होने वाला है.
हाँ नहीं नहीं
So
डेफिनेटली
it
वो
was good
ये
that
ऐसी ऐसी
they
तरीके
didn't.
के फिल्म्स डॉक्टर ऐसे के तरीके की फिल्म्स वो डिमांड करता है लाइक लेसर नोन स्टार्स जैसे
Yeah,
लाइक केरी रसल
yeah,
है स्टार लेकिन वो काइंड ऑफ टीवी स्पेस में ज्यादा है लाइक उसमें कंपेयर टू
Yeah.
फिल्म
yeah,
वाले स्पेस में वैसे
yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
ओके
And
इसलिए
I
also
think
केरी
among the
रसल शी
actors
इज
who
नोन फॉर
acted, of course, sorry, Biswa, I'm cutting you. I'm cutting what you're trying to say. But among the actors who acted, yeah, for me, the top performer was Ray Liotta. And it was good to see him in this particular role before. I mean,
फाइनल रोल
now that he's no more. And also Alden Aaron Reach, इससे पहले उन्होंने एक बहुत फ्रेंचाइज मूवी की थी, स्टार वॉर्स मूवी की थी, कॉल्ड सोलो, a Star Wars story where he played Han Solo, and he was that movie itself was not very well made, and that movie got a lot of critical was very critically panned, and so was Alden Ehrenreich. And वो movie के बाद he did one more movie, and after that he's here in Cocaine Bear. So it's good that he's getting into a different space and a very different role, and he's doing something which kind of suits him. So yeah, good for him too. Yeah.
Okay. So what I was saying is, I think the reason why people are not probably talking much about it, roots takes me back to the point which I made a little bit earlier. Dark comedy has a particular set of audience. I mean, it has a niche of its
Yeah.
own. So that is one. The second point is, it's people like us, right? Like we are kind of the flag bearers of recommending movies. Asking people to watch those offbeat movies, the ones that people miss, the ones that people are not aware of. So I mean that is what strikes me the most. Or agar if there are people like me or like Doc, and we are not thoroughly impressed with this movie, which we are clearly not. I think in a way we are also probably taking a backseat when we are trying to recommend this movie to anyone, and we are not sure. At least I'm not sure if somebody else would conceive it the way I did, or if there will be this particular this particular guy who goes out to the movie on my recommendation, and he or she goes on to enjoy it as much as I did. So I think थोड़ा बहुत वो conflicts रहता है. So probably
Mm.
that's the way I have not recommended this movie to many people. But like Doc said sometime back, he would definitely recommend this to people to watch it, and so would I. I mean, in fact, I would do the same thing. If it's still out, I would still urge people to go and watch it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
deserves your.
because of these reasons, the genre is always an underdog genre, dark comedy. Not even among comedy genres, it's not a rom com is not an underdog genre. Usko, it always gets a broader audience, and slapstick comedy, loud comedy gets its audience, but dark comedy, nahi, thoda, it has very limited audience. Yeah.
एब्सोल्युटली
See, if you have a very mainstream movie and you put elements of dark comedy, you put some scenes of dark comedy, तो वो चल जाता है. But you make an out and out dark comedy, it's not this thing. It won't work. You cannot expect it to be very universally accepted or universally consumed. That
Yeah.
issue is always there.
At the
Yeah,
end of the
and
day,
since we were, huh?
sorry, Doc, sorry to cut you through. At the end of the day, we wouldn't call a movie like Ugly a dark comedy. We'll still call it as a thriller, right?
Thriller, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and since we were recommending dark comedy some time back, there is this lovely movie in the lovely Tamil movie called Jigar Thanda, directed by Karthik Subraj, and it's wonderful to see it. And it was very badly remade in Hindi as Bachchan Pandey. They took out the whole soul of the movie, I'll say. It was वो तो आप देखो ही मत, but I would definitely recommend people to watch Jigar Thanda. It is an insane dark comedy, and it is fun, and lot of Karthik Subbaraj's movies have elements of dark comedy in them, even when they are dramas like Mahan, which he made recently, and
Mahan,
that Dhanush, yeah, the one with Vikram Chian Vikram,
I have to watch
and
it.
then that was Dhanushka movie which he made before this, where he was Dhanush was this gangster. I can't remember Jaga Mein Thandi Ram or something it was called.
जग में
So
अंधेरा.
yeah, so you even those movies are even he's a good flag bearer of dark comedy in the Tamil movie industry, and I feel you can watch his movies, and especially don't miss out Jigar Thanda and don't judge it on the basis of Bachchan Pandey. That's what I would tell people. Yeah,
Hmm.
Farhad Samji spoiled it very badly.
Yeah, he has.
Watch the original version. Dekho yaar sab. Huh.
So yeah, guys, finally thank you so very much for coming to my channel. Like बहुत अच्छा लगा डार्क कॉमेडी के बारे में बात करते हुए. Just one of my favorite genres in movies. So thank you so much for joining in this discussion. Let's see कि अभी next film पे कौन सी किया जाए. Hopefully Oscars are around the corner. देखते हैं कौन सा film discuss होता है, या एक Oscars के बारे में कुछ episode होता है कि नहीं. Let's see. So till then,
Yeah.
thank you so much, guys.
Chalo. Bye. Thank you, Sanket, for calling us. Thank you, Biswa, for your inputs. Sorry, I mispronounced your name as Biswas. No, you're Biswadeep or you're Biswa. Yeah.
Anything
Take
is
care.
fine as long as you call me. So thanks, Doc. Thanks, Sanjay, for having me.
Yeah.
People who are watching it or not, I would please request you to go and watch Cook and It's good. It's good.
Absolutely.